What happens at laser tag never stays at laser tag.
Laser Unfocused Tag Talk.
Laser Unfocused Tag Talk.
I feel like you could be like in Ghostbusters or something.
Oh my God, you have got some stories.
Let's talk about laser tag.
Who knew you were a laser tag legend?
Time to get laser unfocused. Tag Talk with Tivia.
Welcome to Laser Unfocused Tag Talk. Hi, I'm Tivia. Have you ever wondered where you might find the world's largest laser tag arena? Hear the story of the husband and wife team who built the multi-attraction business where this arena took shape. My guest today is Keith Schell, one of the owners of The Edge in Belleville, Illinois, the world's largest laser tag arena. And you and your wife, Mary, operate this phenomenal facility. I thank you so much for joining me today, Keith.
Well, gosh, it's my pleasure.
So now your arena itself is very notable. So before we get to a little bit of the history of The Edge, I'd love to just hear a little bit about the arena. Now, I've played it, but I'd love to kind of paint a picture for anybody who hasn't seen it recently. First of all, how large an arena are we talking to be the world's largest?
It's 14,400 and some change is what we've measured, which includes the second levels.
Very good. And I know you've done some remodeling. You were kind of neck and neck with another arena for a while, but now you have taken some things out and added some things in. So could you just kind of tell me what people can expect when they walk into this arena and see what you've done to it?
Well, we've had the arena since 1995. So, I'm sorry, 1998. So I think it's important for anybody operating a laser tag arena to periodically make updates and changes and improvements to it. And so we took during pandemic, things kind of changed for us, changed for a lot of people. And so we ended up having to reduce the size of our original arena to be able to accommodate lobby space so people could socially distance 6 feet apart to be able to get in line to play laser tag. Previously, it was, wall to wall and just the way it was. People love getting in lines and going in to play laser tag when they didn't care if they're really cramped in. But obviously with COVID, things changed. So in order to keep our operation going, we had to reduce the size of the arena and then get the distancing space in front in order to be able to do that. So that was kind of a challenge. And then once we've put the restrictions behind us, we're operating normally again, we decided to go back to the big, large arena again. And the way we did that is we actually took out one of our movie theaters. And so we created additional space by taking a movie theater out. And that became kind of the inspiration to the new change we made. And the new change we're really excited about is really a Pandora and Avatar inspiration. And first of all, my wife and I, we love the movie. And we also think that especially the first film, the scenery in that is just timeless, and it can go across many generations. It doesn't matter if it's sci-fi, whether you're playing just any type of game. It really kind of fits just because of the nature of it. It really can get lost. I think if you can play and you get lost in the environment, and I think that really enhances the experience itself. And obviously it's always about the game itself, but I think when you're in a fun, mystic kind of environment that's completely different, I think it really adds another element to the fun itself. So that's what we did. And the theater part became Deep Pandora. And we actually took advantage of the separation of the old part of the arena and the new theater. And that became kind of the barrier between Deep Pandora and then the outpost side where the humans were. So we created a rocket ship. That's the briefing room. So we're actually almost done with it. Should be launching that within the next 30 days as a new video brief that is actually footage of taking off it looks like you're taking off in a rocket ship in our building, from the roof of our building, going into space. Then you crash land onto Pandora where you go play laser tag. So that's kind of the inspiration of what we've created.
Well, it's a very impressive arena, and being the world's largest, you've got some bragging rights there. So time to kind of dial it back to where it all began. And, we're talking about a movie theater here. For anyone who hasn't had familiarity with your facility, The Edge actually stands for something, and you have quite a few features. So could you just kind of give us an idea of what all you have and what that means?
Yeah, and our business has really evolved since we purchased this property in '98. Originally, we were just the laser tag portion, and we had a little arcade, and we had a 26,000 square foot building, and half of it wasn't even occupied. So, but we had the laser tag going, and then we did something crazy. Is we actually relocated a restaurant, a sports bar we had in another part of the town into the building. So we decided to use up the rest of that space by putting a food and beverage element into laser tag and arcade environment. So kind of like a Dave and Buster's, but only instead of a lot of arcade, we use the laser tag as one of our primary features. But very much, we had our space that appealed to adults. We had our space that appealed to the kids, and the laser tag was kind of that space that appealed to both adults and kids. So it really worked really well. And then as time went on, we added to the building. And well, one of the things too that was really interesting is that we found out right away that our laser tag was really popular. We're the first laser tag in the St. Louis market, and we felt like if we could do a really good job with it, that we could do well. And well, that's what happened. And we had a 30 vest system. It was selling out every single weekend, and it was fantastic. And we're making good money, but we felt like we were leaving a lot of money on the table because we had long lines of people that still wanted to play, a lot of people that drive 30, 40 minutes and be pissed off because they couldn't get a spot. And it was just, we got to that crossroads of what do we do? So a lot of the experts were telling us that it was time to open up a second facility and be able to leverage our name and do it that way. And then we thought, we do that, that's a little bit bigger headache. Part of the things we got in business was my wife and I still could spend more time working together. So if one of us if we're now having two different stores, chances are one of us would have to be running one store, the other. And, the time we'd spend together wouldn't be as much, and it would kind of start defeating some of the purposes of why we got in business. So we decided to do something crazy. We decided to see if we could do a 60-player laser tag system. And no one else did it at the time. This was, I guess 98, 99. And the maximum number of players at that time was 30. And this is from any manufacturer. No one else was playing more than 30 vests at the time. And so we went to the manufacturer and said, hey, we want to do 60. And they looked at us like we're crazy. Yeah, so we're going to double the space of our arena, and we're going to play 60 people. And we think we have the demand for that. So we paid some money and did some research, had to do some tweaks to the radio service to be able to, obviously with laser tag, it's about that instantaneous feedback. You want to make sure that when you tag in someone, you know who you tagged and keep track of what place you're in. And if you don't have immediate real-time scoring, really it would take away from the game. So the problem with the 60 vest system is that the radio service wasn't quick enough to be able to get that really quick instantaneous feedback. So we paid some money to the manufacturer, tweaked the radio service. And it took a while, but finally we got it complete to where it met the playability scale that we wanted, which, at the end of the day, if your arena is not playable, it doesn't matter how good it is or how big it is or how cool it looks. At the end of the day, it's still about the game. So we got the service working well, and then we went to a 60 vest system, and lo and behold, we didn't double our employees. In fact, we only had to add an additional marshal to cover the additional space. And we were selling out with 60 vests. And so it really was great. And, the arena was big enough. There was plenty of square footage per player. And people really liked it a lot more. In fact, I think it was because it became so target rich too. And when you had 60 players in a really big environment and you had maybe 4 different teams going, it got really competitive, and it really worked. And it really made us a lot of money that way. And it was financially, it was one of the better decisions we've ever made. The return on investment was about 3 months, which is crazy, right? How could you build a whole new another, about 5,000 square feet of space and have that with additional equipment? And that was all paid for in a matter of months. So yeah, strong return on investment. And so that's kind of how we started off. And then as time went on, we added to the building, which is crazy. We added movie theaters. So we added another, 20,000 square feet. We added 5 movie theaters and a corridor, more space to get down to the movie theaters. And then in 2012, that was 2012. And then 2018, we added another 35,000 square feet to the property. We bought 3 adjacent properties to the area. The city ended up giving us the street, so they closed that down so we could make that into more parking. And yeah, so we added go-karts, bowling, an event center, bumper cars, more VR space. So now we're definitely a full-fledged FEC, 85,000 square feet, and the name is the Edge. And now we changed our name to the Edge a few years back, which is really stands for Eats, Drinks, Games, Entertainment. So we're kind of covering the whole gambit. So yeah, that's kind of our business in a nutshell.
Well, you're just of the go big or go home mentality, right?
Well, yeah, it's I think if you have a big space and you could put top rate entertainment options, people will come, especially if you give good service. And that we're really proud of our staff and our ability to be able to deliver. At the end of the day, it's about making memories for people, and if you can provide a space where people can celebrate, they can do something crazy, like, get lost in a huge laser tag arena and then be able to talk about it afterwards and have that experience, especially if you could share that experience with other people. Yeah, it's kind of a neat thing, and I think you've seen enough people play laser tag that there's nothing quite like it when they come out, and that smile on their face, and then they look at their score and they talk about the weapons that they acquired and their experience. And yeah, that's kind of it's always been one of my favorite things to watch people come out of the arena.
Well, definitely. And you talk about doing something crazy. So I'd like to take it back. You mentioned that you were already having a sports bar as part of your business plan, but what brought you to laser tag? What made you take interest in opening up an arena in the first place?
Well, it was crazy. I never even heard of laser tag before until I was visiting someone up in the Buffalo area, and we came across Lasertron. Went right by their building. It said Lasertron, and I said, "Oh, what the heck is that?" And the guy who was with me, was my age, and I guess I was in my 30s. And oh, that's laser tag. I said, "Oh, is that something you buy at Walmart?" I said, "No. It's he explained it. He goes, "Oh yeah, we love to do it." And so that kind of planted the seed. And then a couple of years later, we saw a property that was available, and it was for sale. And we're trying to think about what entertainment options would work there. And I just out of the blue said laser tag. I said, "Man, this looks like the same size as the building that Lasertron had. I wonder if that would work here." And so my wife and I got intrigued enough to do some research, and we ended up visiting 20 laser tag places all over the country, primarily in California, but we did also a little short trip on the East Coast. We tried to see as many as we could, and we talked to the owners, and man, we found out that it was a really cool business. And we felt like if we could be first to the market in St. Louis, we could really have something. And as it turns out, yeah, we were right. It was a really good decision on our part.
And what was the first system that you operated at the Edge?
We had Darklight, and we've used Darklight until this last year. And they really were a pioneering company forever. They just did some amazing things throughout time we had them. In fact, they were the first system that actually had chargeable batteries, where you didn't have to take the batteries out or plug them in. You just actually put them on the rack and they charged. So they did a lot of really cool things. But after the pandemic hit them hard, they were a smaller company, didn't have as much ability to continue to do the R&D that they needed to be able to stay up. So we ended up switching out to Laser Force this last year.
What went into your decision to go with the gear that you're using now?
Very much the membership capabilities. We wanted a system where we could communicate back to our guests well, and that they could earn achievements, and that they could really be able to grow into the game. And we felt like Laser Force did that better than most companies. And in fact, our what we always feel like is an important next step with laser tag, which we're working on right now, is we want to make sure that people know more how they do in a comparative environment to other people. So we want to be able to give that instant feedback of what your rank is among not only the people within our venue, but also within the whole Laser Force community throughout, and be able to, because I think people are competitive nature naturally, and if you can do something that can really kind of pique their competitiveness. It really would enhances the overall game experience. So what we want to be able to do is take the Laser Force system, be able to then, when you play, be able to create your account where you can actually have your score sent back to your phone. And so you get updates on what rank you are. And then we'll be able to take, our goal is to be able to have tournaments where we'll invite the top 60 players, the scores, and they'll know where they stand because they can see it on their phone, and we can do push notifications. Hey, you're ranked 66, so and you may come in and get your rank up so you can come in and play. So, and I think that by doing that, it's going to do two things. One, it should be, for us, it should be great because we get more business. But I think that the way it could work is that it could really help bring a laser tag community together. People are looking for things to do and activities they can do, and they find like-minded people that like to play laser tag. It could be I think it'll be a really good way to bring people together in a kind of an organic way, kind of like us seeing a lot of the tournaments that you do. And I think people like that. They want, especially people that really get into the sport of laser tag.
Oh, absolutely. And I think you're on the right track by building a community and your regulars and people who will bring more people into the fold. And it's just part of the growth that I think you're seeing all the way from the beginning. One of my questions for you was, did you set out to be the world's largest laser tag? But it doesn't sound like you began in that direction. What was the evolution, and how many vests do you run right now?
Oh, we're still running the 60 vest system. Yeah,
Okay.
We can run up to 62, but we have 60. We can play 62 if we have if there's when it does sell out and we have to find 2 extra, we can. We like it that way. And but we never did try to become the largest. We did everything just based on what we felt was the right size of the arena for the 60 players. And so we built the space to fit the game. And then God, it was quite a few years later, the International Laser Tag Association did a big survey, and they notified us, oh, by the way, you guys are the largest in the world. We said, really? We didn't know that. And they said, yeah, we've looked everywhere and you guys are the largest. I said, oh, that's cool. And so yeah, it was very by happenstance. And I'm not sure there's official records on any of this, but I know that at the time they did a pretty thorough search. So I don't know what's happened since then, but yeah, from what we've been told by all the laser tag manufacturers is that we're still the biggest that they've seen.
Well, that is very cool and definitely a point of pride. And so you've probably had some different kinds of challenges to overcome in the process of things. So what did you go through along the way that maybe somebody could take as words of wisdom for what to do or what not to do as you're trying to get a successful laser tag up and running?
Well, I think the first thing is the arena design itself. And there's a lot of people that go to the traditional route, which is to hire a laser tag company that specializes in building laser tag arenas to build it. And I'm very leery of that. And it's not that they don't do good work, because the end product looks very pretty. I don't think that their arenas play very well from a strategic standpoint. And so I think that no matter what, it always, if you want to be, if it's really about the game, about the players, it's got to be about the game. If you want repeat business, it's got to be fun. And that means that you can't have specific areas where one person can dominate, because then all of a sudden the veterans know exactly where to go and they'll kill everybody. And that's no fun, because then you've eliminated the competitive balance that you want to achieve. So the design really is important, that you have it enough places to have cover, but not places where you can get cover so deep that you can hide and dig and win the game and dominate just in one area. So some of the things we've learned is that you got to be willing to change too. And so, you build your game, you build your arena, you play it. And a lot of people just say, that's it. Right. And for us, it's like, no, let's play. Let's see how it plays. Let's talk to people. Let's talk to all of our good veterans and ask them, what would you like to see better? Is there anything, did you find any areas are too open? Do you want more cover in certain areas? What things do you think would enhance the experience itself? So I think it's something we're still learning, and it's something that I think we'll always try to improve. And I think another thing that we certainly need to do more of it, which is I like interactive elements within the arena. I like where you can surprise someone, and whether it's through an animatronic, whether it's a video, whether it's a noise, a light, anytime you can have some type of interactive point, which may, and it really, I look back to the very first time I played laser tag. It was a place in Sacramento. In fact, may have been a Laser Force site now that I think about it. They had a dragon that twice a game, dragon's head, it would come up, little fog would come out of its mouth, and it would growl. But it wasn't animatronic, it was just the head with smoke coming out, right? But everybody in that arena couldn't wait for that dragon to come out because they wanted to tag that dragon. And when they got out of that arena, what did everybody talk about? Did you tag the dragon? Did you see the dragon? Right? And it hit right there. I said, look how simple this little thing is, yet it really had an impact. So imagine if you could take that same approach and accelerate it by a factor of 10 or 20 or 30. I think that would be where you can really get some traction. And that's kind of what we're working on. It's going slower than we hope, but now that we have the structure in place, we're going to really be adding some really cool interactive elements, especially ones that make sense to the Pandora type experience that we're doing. So we're looking forward to that.
Well, and your Pandora experience really is very immersive, and it's very different from what I see in a lot of other places. And I think part of that is you were really instrumental in building your arena, correct?
Yeah, I did a lot of I did some of the work, and I certainly was hands-on with the whole project. And I did some of the sculpting. We did some sculpting items. We built some giant mushrooms, or 18 to 20 foot high mushrooms throughout Pandora, and then some other trees. And we sculpted all those, hot knifed them, and used resin to cover them, and then hired some really good UV artists to come in and paint them. So yeah, and we built a great tree of life type thing. We built a tree that you could walk in, which you've seen, you could walk all the way through, and I built that. And that was really fun. And and that was also another thing I think that's important about the arena. If you look at that tree of life as an example, it's a very small space, but the way it was built, you can go up high, you can go up to 22 feet high in that structure, and it feels like you're in a tree, but it doesn't take a huge footprint. So there's a key to construction where you can, we can still ramp, not use steps, but still be able to take advantage of the height. And one of the things when I play, I think having multi-level arenas is a must. That is, it's even if you have mid-levels, that are, any type of elevation change really enhances the experience. It just does. And it just, that sense of space and distance and up and down, you're creating a fantasy environment. So I think that's another really important element.
Well, and you do have quite a bit of that elevation in your arena, and I agree. Having played the tree that you're talking about, it looks like a giant tree trunk, but really not taking up all that much space. But when you get through those ramps, it feels like 3 or 4 levels up, and you can peek out of the windows, and so that's a really unique element. You've got some catwalks going on there, and definitely a couple of other towers. And I think that what I really took away from your arena was just the design was so unique. And I think that, you accomplished a lot of your goals because there didn't seem to be any one dominant area, but it was all very memorable because it was immersive. And of course, going back to the beginnings of laser tag, George Carter III, when he designed Photon, has said many times that the goal was to make it immersive. How significant do you feel that atmosphere is in balance with the game experience?
I think they're equally important. I think if everybody's in there for a different reason, and you'll have your really competitive players, and for them, they may not even notice some of the elements because they're so focused in on the game. Then you have other players that are they're there to have fun, and they're not as competitive, and they may be trying to tag people, but they don't care as much about winning, maybe, but they really like to look around, and they really get lost, and the fantasy element is more what appeals to them. So I think if you can have both of those working side by side, I think that's going to really enhance your ability to succeed. I do think today it's theming is really important. I really believe it. Yeah, I'm big, huge proponent of theming. I'm a big believer in UV paint, and I'm a big believer in the Rhino lights that came out. Those were really cool. Gives us a lot of ability to change the environment. Even eventually, we want to be able to even have an environment where we can change it from daytime to nighttime. So it actually within a game format. Imagine if it starts from dusk to dawn is the game. I can just see something where you could fix, and that's kind of the time. When the game starts, it's the morning, and it's going to end when it becomes dark, right? I could just see how cool that would be, right? And you can do that with just simply through lighting. And I'm kind of looking forward to that next stage. We're really going to dive a lot deeper into the lighting aspect of it.
Very nice. Yeah, dynamic lighting really does make a big difference, and a lot of things that you can use to illustrate features of the game with your lighting as well. So,
yeah,
very, very cool to kind of see where that might be going. Now, these are some great ideas 25 years into running the business, but over 25 years, I am sure that you have come across some interesting things and had some out of the box ideas. So I'd love to know a little bit about, what kinds of outside of the box thinking have you done to attract customers and, maybe have special events or such?
well, yeah. God, 25 years, we have seen a lot, and we've seen it's interesting to see how when we first started, like a lot of people, we had this really big, huge influx of people. Man, we thought we had hit the money train. We thought, oh man, this is the best thing ever. And then all of a sudden, the reality of summertime hit, where people are not wanting to be inside as much anymore, and they're wanting to go to the beach and go out to the lake or wherever they want to go, but they're definitely wanting to be outside more than they want to be inside. So we had to really make some adjustments to our business model once we really got into it. And kind of the neat thing about us is that the movie theater part was really really important for us. When we added movie theaters, that really helped with our summer business, because summertime is when the blockbusters always came out. And so all of a sudden we gave a reason for people to come inside. And then we were able to do a lot of synergy selling between the laser tag, the entertainment aspect of it, and the movie theaters. And we do a lot of cross promotions with that. For example, the Barbie movie that just came out, and the number of people that came through our doors to see that was just amazing. The key though was to get them to try to come back again, but also make sure that their spend rate while they're here was really high. So we really did a good job in marketing other elements of our business to the people that were coming into the Barbie movie, and specific things that we knew were going to hit really well were the Barbie drinks that we made through our bar, and we had canned drinks, of course, too, and really sold. I mean, I cannot tell you how many Barbie drinks we sold over the course of the last 4 weeks, and it's been excellent. It was just a really neat thing to do. Other things we've done really well in our business is we were one of the first places to have a direct group sales effort, and we started this a long time ago, and that really was a very important step in that, reaching out to potential people that just need a little nudge to know about our place. Obviously it's not a hard sell to come to an entertainment center. Sometimes it's just about pointing people in the right direction. So putting together a sales program was something that really helped drive a lot of business our way. And then we did another thing which was really key, is we've done a really good partnership with a lot of the schools, whether it's participating in fundraisers, helping their PTA organization, being a real good partner in terms of helping them. In turn, the amount of business we get out of the schools is just phenomenal. All the field trips and club trips and athletic outings and group outings from the clubs, and that really has been a very good win-win for both them and for us. So that was something that it's nice when you get a partnership like that once you've got it in place, which we do, it's very repeatable every year. So in fact, we sell out for come summer or right before summer, our field trip season, we sell out, and people know they start booking them 4 or 5 months ahead because of even with as big of our places, we still sell out. So that's been a really great thing for us to do. And what other things have we done that are, I think the thing we're most excited about is sending scores. If we can, that's where that's the direction we see the future. We kind of want to esport our place. And what I mean by that is, people traditionally think of esport as the video gaming only. Well, why can't it be laser tag, right? We're going to connect you through electronics, through our technology to be able to provide scoring, to let you know how you stand, be able to let everybody know where they stand among the population base. And so that and then have the tournaments. And I think that will work. I think we're going to try to do the same thing with go-karts, do the same thing with bowling. And then have maybe a triathlon of the three of them. So have the grand winner, the best bowler, go-karter, laser tag person, and drive it that way. I think if you can reach out to people, find a sweet spot for what they like to do entertainment wise, and then kind of fuel the competitive streak in them, I think you have something that can work. Some of our most popular video games are the competitive ones, like the side-by-side basketball shoot, the Connect 4 basketball shoot, that one that's so popular. It's because it's competitive and people like to do things like that. So,
well, and I always think that one of the nice things about laser tag is that, especially with kids, well, maybe and for adults too, it gets people off their screens. Now, granted, there's a screen on the phaser, but you're getting social interaction going on. You've got that competitive spirit going on. You have some exercise, but maybe people wouldn't otherwise be getting. There's a whole lot of really positive benefits to laser tag, and I'm sure that if you can, kind of tie them all together in a nice little pretty package with the competitions, there's a lot to be said for reasons that people would gravitate to it.
Yeah, and one of the things too, just a little, it's outside of laser tag, but I just remembered something we did last year, and we're getting it set up again for this year, which is we sponsor a disc golf club out of our place, and what they do is they during the summertime they're outside playing disc golf, but come fall, they do a putting league inside. So they start off on our outside patio, and they have their league, and anybody can come up, and it's actually every week they have a tournament, and anybody can win. They enter, and then once it becomes wintertime and it's too cold for the patio, we move them upstairs into our event center upstairs. And one of the cool things we do though is we have one tournament where we play throughout our building. So we actually set up 18 holes, and you can play in our go-kart track, in our laser tag arena, in our movie theater. We close down all of our activities, and I think we're going to get I think they're going to cap it out about 250 people this year.
Wow.
But yeah, so for on a Thursday night, we'll get 250 people paying a lot of money to do this event at our place, and it's going to bring a lot of people from about a 60-mile radius. The disc golfers travel, and so we'll get a lot of people that have never been to our place before, and so hopefully it'll give us a new way to maybe able to attract long-term new guests, which is always the goal.
Absolutely. I'm always kind of curious about what the most unusual groups or parties are that come through the door. Now, disc golf, I haven't heard that one before, but what else would you say, it comes to mind that you've had as a group coming into the laser tag or for anything at your facility that really stands out and says, boy, that doesn't happen every day?
I think one of the most unique experiences was when this is a long time ago, but it was 20 years ago. I remember we had a grocery store. All the managers from a big regional grocery store were here. So they had about, 80, 90 managers, and they ranged, most of them are between 40 and 60 years old, about that. But that was, I'd say that was the medium age. And after the luncheon, and they're just here for lunch, they're going to our restaurant. They weren't here for any activities. And I just being the salesman, I said, hey, tell you what, on us, I want you guys to try a game of laser tag. Man, you would not believe the reaction. When they got all out, they were laughing, they were hollering. And I kid you not, the next time they had a meeting, about a month later, they're saying, okay, what place are we going to hold our next meeting? Two women, both in their 60s, got up and said, we want to play that goddamn laser tag again. and so they end up coming to our place just on a regular basis until the company changed. But oh yeah, we probably booked 15 events with them afterwards, and they all because of one free game of laser tag we gave them. But that laser tag stuff was something that it really showed that it fueled competitive people, and these managers were competitive, and it appealed to both men, women, didn't matter. And yeah, so it was cool. It showed that laser tag could reach across a very wide spectrum of people. So that was pretty cool. Another thing we did was really neat was we did a event that was a thank you event for orthodontics. They had all their customers, orthodontists, they have a lot of long-term customers, obviously. And so their clients, they brought them, all the kids got to come. They rented out our entire place for 3 hours, which was a really neat thing. And then another really cool one was we actually had a company buyout from the Scripps Express, which is a really big company. And they had just won some big government award, and they're wanting to celebrate because they just won a lot of money. And they shut our whole place down. They had like 500 employees here. And probably the funniest thing was the CEO of Express Scripts. Never forget it. He's on it because we did we were doing an Olympics where we actually had teams. We broke everybody up into teams, and we had all these different activities that they're getting scores. One of them was the Dance Dance Revolution game. Man, I've never seen anything so funny in my life than see the CEO of Scripps Express get on the Dance Dance Revolution and just kick it. I'm talking about, man, he was just rocking it. And and that was probably the biggest icebreaker for the entire team. And yeah, their whole, after he did that, man, everybody had so much fun. And so that's it may not be such a unique group, but that was a very unique experience. I thought it was pretty cool.
It's really interesting how such a little thing, like you were saying, giving a free game, let somebody try it out, can really just have returns over and over and over again as far as your reach in the community and your perception in the community. I know that you and your wife are very community minded. So, I mean, what would you say has kind of proven to be the same when you're dealing with the community? Have you, do you give something and find that people are, coming in and really the returns are there when you're reaching out to the community?
Oh yeah, well, I think grassroots, marketing is always one of the best. If you have an employee give out a pass to someone to try our place, and and especially if they're giving it to someone they know, there's a pretty good chance they're going to come and try it, right? And if you make that personal connection with someone, then I mean, I can't tell you how many people that I don't care. I'm going to a grocery store, get my hair cut, doesn't matter. I'll hand out, a free pass or something, and they come back, and it's amazing if people enjoy your place. That free pass is the best investment you can. If you have a shitty place, it's not gonna matter. I mean, if your experience is bad, that pass doesn't mean anything. But if your experience is good, I think it's more than worth the investment.
I think a lot of times giving something free just gets that experience in front of somebody, and you never know who's going to be your long-term repeat customer out of it.
Oh yeah, and in fact, there's an Oktoberfest celebration, and we're a big German community here, and we're having an Oktoberfest coming up. And one of the things we're sponsoring the sister cities we have a sister city of Germany and the coast that is with our city of Belleville, and we're going to actually be sponsoring a kids zone at the Oktoberfest, and we'll be giving out all sorts of laser tag passes, and that's a really good community outreach.
Well, that's great. So lots of kids are going to get to see Pandora. And just going back to what you were saying about your movie theater tie-ins, I'm just wondering, did you pick a Pandora-inspired theme because there's a movie and you have a movie theater, or was it just something that spoke to you?
Both. We thought about it. First of all, we love the movie. We think Cameron is a genius, and I think the reason why those movies have done so well is because of the ability for people to get lost in that environment. It's just the beauty of it is just, it's off the charts, and so I would say there's also 3 more movies coming out, what the heck? Let's take advantage of it. It's going to be around. It's panorama. It's going to be relevant. So it's going to be relevant for the next 6-8 years. So yeah, so we thought about that. There was certainly a lot of consideration came into that, and I think tying things into the movies for us has always worked. We do promotions all the time through movies. I mean, I remember we did when the Skyfall movie came out, they were promoting Heineken. I guess Heineken paid James Bond or the people a lot of money to be able to promote their product. So they actually had him in the movie. Apparently he was drinking Heineken instead of his traditional martini. And so we went to our Heineken distributor and we said, hey, you should throw an event here. And we have so we did a preview before it was out to the public. We had an exclusive preview where with our specialty theaters, we have the dine-in theaters that are the luxury theaters. So we sold both of those out to all of their clients, and they featured Heineken that was served at our place through our bar, and they ended up getting, I think, 17 new taps out of it. So it was a real win-win. And we've done a lot of movie tie-ins like that, and we'll do movie tie-ins with the game formats that we play, and why not? Synergy is important.
Definitely. Did you pink the arena for Barbie?
No, we didn't pink the arena, but we certainly put up a lot of places with balloons, and we call them selfie spots, but a whole bunch of places. So all of our theaters were decked out like that.
What's been your most successful laser tag to a movie tie-in or tie-in to it?
We got a lot of the Avatar, certainly got a lot of mileage out of. Before that, we did a lot of good things with remember the movie Outbreak?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so when the movie Outbreak came out, we programmed a game where you got infected and your vest would cough, and so we did a lot of really good tie-ins through the movie like that, and that was a very popular game for a long time, and so that was a really, I'd say that was probably the coolest tie-in. We've also done some really interesting tie-ins with companies too, like we did when Bayer Pharmaceutical, they wanted to do an outing for all their pharmacy reps. We did a cough and cold game, a cough and cure game, and they were promoting a specific product at the time that cured some respiratory stuff. I forget what it's called, but we actually programmed our laser tag game, and so when they're able to capture that particular drug, we made a prop in the arena with the drug's name on it. It looked like the pill. When they tagged it, it cured their cough. And so it was really, I don't know if the people that played it cared, but the Bayer people did. And that made a difference to them. And so it because they were looking at going to Dave and Buster's or our place, and when I told them that we could do this for them and really tie into what they were trying to promote, it became a no-brainer. They came to our place in a heartbeat. It was like that was a easy way for us to gain business by taking advantage of our laser tag system. But I think it's because we listened to what they're wanting to do too, if that makes sense. We found a need that they had, and we designed something that could meet it. So
I love the ingenuity of that. That's just brilliant marketing on both ends, I think.
Yeah, it was cool. Yeah. Yeah, we did the same thing with it. We did a really neat thing with the police department too. Is we actually they haven't done it in a while, but we did this game format that was a hostage rescue format. So when they were doing they wanted to do some training, they actually used our laser tag equipment for some hostage rescue training, and we'd take all the lights off, the sensors off the vest, and put them in stealth mode. So because in real life, they wouldn't have lit sensors, and then we gave them a specific number of shots that mimicked how many shots they carried in their guns in their clip, and so we actually kind of tried to make the game as realistic as we could, and that was really fun. That was even though it wasn't a money maker for us, it was a neat outreach to the police, and I think it's important to reach out to civic organizations and especially people that take care of us, so that was kind of cool.
That really is. Well, you've got a lot of ingenuity going on in this place. And from, again, 25 years of experience, what words of wisdom would you have for an up and coming operator based on the experiences you've had?
Oh, God, if we knew what we knew now 25 years ago, our life trajectory would have been certainly much different. But not to say that we're disappointed. I think is because the journey itself has been a wonderful ride. I mean, stuff that the growing pains we've had has been excellent. I guess maybe the one would be have pandemic insurance, but that was unfortunately that doesn't exist. We actually had business interruption insurance, and as we turned in our claim, and only to find out that the only exception to the policy was a pandemic, and apparently apparently that was put in 100 years ago to all insurance policies, unbeknownst to us. And but I would say number one is make sure you know your market, make sure you build a place that has enough throughput. One of the things I think people make a real mistake in is that they don't design their place for their optimum times. In our business, we have a finite amount of time when we make money. And when you get into the fall, winter, spring, it's a weekend business, and we know that. And so you better be able to capture as much dollars as you can during those times. And so having enough throughput is, I think, one of the most important things. I've seen operators, and I go into the places, and I'm not going to tell you the name of them, but it's a very, very, they won the Family Entertainment Center of the Year, great place. But the big bottleneck they had was their laser tag. Everyone do laser tag, right? And they had this all you can play deal, and fights would always happen about laser tag, and no one wanted to do all their other attractions were basically empty, and they still had to have people manning them. I looked at the guy and said, dude, build your laser tag bigger or build a second arena. I mean, you have the capacity, you have the demand. This is your headache. Your headache is that you have a big, huge amount of people that want to go play this game, but can't because you don't have the capacity. Yeah, you have all this unused space that's costed, that you have extra employees. It's not being used. Go the easy route, right? So go the easy route. So I think that's one of the big things. I think a lot of people fail to understand numbers, and when you can drive 240 people an hour through your attraction, that's huge. And we do all the field trips, right? Well, we couldn't do these big field trips if we weren't able to do big volume of people in a short period of time through our arena. And you just look at we have a go-kart track, perfect example. So we have go-karts. Go-karts are fun, awesome, do really well. But we have about 100 people an hour we can get through that attraction if we're humping it. 100 people. Takes up a lot more space than the laser tag arena. We charge about the same. And yet 240 people in a smaller space in the laser tag arena. Less maintenance on the equipment, higher overall satisfaction rate. So I'd say that go big, do it right. And I think that's I think some people are just afraid, and because they follow the traditional model. And let's face it, the traditional model is to build a small arena. It's, I think probably the average size arena is probably 4,000 square feet, maybe 3,500. And it's probably a 20 best system, see those everywhere, right? It's just like, oh, we're just going to put a laser tag in. And sure, it'll make some revenue, and it'll be a nice little corner attraction, but it's not the attraction that people are going to drive 40, 50 miles to go see. It's not going to be, it's just not. And I think every place needs to have at least one attraction that people will be willing to drive 40 or 50 miles to go see. And if you have that, then I think you'll do well.
Couldn't agree with you more. And definitely, world's largest arena, your Pandora themed space is definitely worth the drive, or the fly in my case. Taking the flight to come out and see, that was well worth it.
You had quite a distance to show, that's for sure.
Yes, but definitely an impressive arena. So I thank you so much for giving me some insights into everything that you've done at the Edge. And I like to wrap up with a little rapid fire tag talk. Some quick questions to you, some quick answers back. Are you game?
Oh, sure.
All right. First question. What is the most unusual event you've ever hosted for laser tag?
Unusual event. I'll think about that one. Oh, the most unusual event was a rave. It was a lock-in, and they said, "Oh yeah, we're a church, and the pastor such and such," and we're like, "Okay, great," because we only did churches for our lock-ins. We allowed schools and churches. We don't let anybody else. And so all of a sudden, at about 1 a.m, Mary and I get a call and said, there's something going on here. We go, what? There's something going on here. This group, they're just crazy. I said, well, what do you mean? Oh yeah, they got these glow in the dark necklaces, and they're all doing drugs and doing all this stuff. And next thing I know, it was a full on rave, and we never even heard it. We didn't even know what a rave was. And we never heard of it. And so we ended up having to shut the whole event down. So that was the most unusual thing we've ever did. And yeah, that was that was 20 some years ago, but I don't think even raves exist anymore. But anyway, so that was kind of
Oh, live and learn. Coolest place that you've ever played laser tag other than your own arena?
what would be the coolest place? Let me think about that. I would say I really like the Lasertron place. That's a neat place because the people are. I really like the Lasertron people. Those people are really nice. I also liked Shadowland in Maryland, in Columbia, Maryland. They had a really nice. I like their arena, and the Laser Web site in Texas, that in Austin, that was a really cool site.
Oh, Laser Blaze?
Yeah, Laser Blaze, yeah.
Or Laser tag.
Laser tag, yes.
Laser tag.
yeah, Thomas Mahoney. Yeah, he had a really interesting place. Yeah. I think those places were pretty cool. I like the way I didn't like the theming as much as I liked the game format, how it played. I thought it played really well. And yeah, so I'd say those are some of the ones.
Okay. Coolest person you've ever met through laser tag?
Mary. No, I choose. I met
That's
her before.
a good answer. Don't give that one up.
Coolest person. We actually, when we did our laser tag leagues, we had some really neat people. I mean, it was some father-son people and teams and mother daughters. It was that was probably the coolest event ever. And we actually got our own team going, and yeah, the camaraderie among that was neat. But we've also had some neat sports celebrities come through our place and play laser tag with us. One of the announcers, Randy Carricker, did a host with Tony Twist, who's a real famous hockey player from our area. He was a big enforcer, and we had a great laser tag game with them. And they were so cool. These guys had a ball too, and they really helped promote it too.
Very good. I'm just gonna pause on your first answer though. Did you and your wife open the sports bar together, or did you meet her through laser tag through this whole endeavor?
No, we opened up our sports bar together. We actually we both met in Washington D.C. and she was working for a U.S. senator. I was working for a private sector, and we moved back to Belleville, her hometown here, to start our own business. So, and our first business was the sports bar.
Okay, that's what I thought.
In fact, Mary just walked in. She wants to say hello.
Hey,
Hi,
got
Mary.
the sister cities here, and how you doing?
Doing
Good to see
well.
you.
We're in the middle of some rapid fire
Well,
tag
good.
talk. Maybe you've got an answer for me. You want to answer a couple of questions?
Sure, if you want. I only have about 3 to 5 minutes. We've got a group out there.
All right. This one is for both of you. 2 separate answers. What's your favorite game format?
I love I don't know what we call it now, but I like it when everybody turns, it's Red Rover is what we used to call it, where you get everybody starts off green, and then as you tag people, they turn red, and then the last one is it, so to speak. That's my favorite one.
Yeah, and I like the new game, the laser ball game has been a ball to play. That is, it's like a soccer game. It's so fun. It's like I've really gotten into that one.
Very good. All right. What's your favorite energy drink to keep you on the move?
water and wine.
That counts.
I'm definitely not an energy drink person. so,
Yeah, I have coffee in the morning and
yeah,
then
yeah.
that's it.
Coffee in the morning and then I'm good to go.
All right. Favorite brand of We Never Run in the Arena shoes?
I don't know. Oh, that's a good one. What's yours?
I think it's probably the high heels that we've come across. People try to play laser tag in high heels, and we have to tell them, you can't do that. What do you mean? I'll be fine.
I don't understand how people forget their shoes in the arena. That happens sometimes just one. So how
You
do
mean like leave them behind in the arena?
Yes.
Yeah, we find single shoes all the time. It kind of puzzles me. We put them in lost and found and hope somebody finds it.
Yeah. Who goes home with one shoe?
We
that
should
has
have
happened
started with these questions. All right, but we'll wrap it up with a good one. What's the best reason to play laser tag at the Edge?
It's fun. Our staff is awesome. The environment is immersive, and the equipment is first rate.
And you never know what you're going to see. If you haven't been here in a few months, it may see something different. So I think, like Keith said, we have a great staff, and there's a lot of energy, a lot of people who love the game that work here, which they love to share that with the new people.
Absolutely. Well, we've gotten a lot of insight, and I appreciate you taking some time. And I thank you both. That's Keith Schell and his wife, Mary Dahm-Schell, owners of The Edge in Belleville, Illinois, the world's largest laser tag arena. Thank you both for your time, and keep at it. You're doing something right out there in Belleville.
Thanks,
you.
Lori.
Can't wait to see you again.
Yeah, appreciate it. Take care.
Thanks. Thanks for checking out this episode of Laser Unfocused Tag Talk. Listen for more episodes on the first and third Friday of each month. Want to be a guest on an upcoming episode? Find out more and follow my blog and website at TiviaChickLovesLaserTag.com.